Well, good afternoon to you. This is K24 Newscut. Let's begin by having a look at what is shipping news this afternoon.
The motion having been deemed to be withdrawn, pursuant to Standing Order 71, the proposal for a special committee is defeated. The Senate will therefore proceed with the investigation of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, in plenary.
Senate to investigate Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua's impeachment charges next Wednesday and Thursday at the plenary.
Sometimes we have cases where Kenyans are in distress, and some can signal the embassy and say they are in distress. There are others who do not speak at all.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi appears before senators. And government assures access to services for Kenyans abroad. Plus, Nakuru man and daughter deny hiring hitmen to eliminate kin over a land tussle. Hitmen allegedly revealed the plan to the targets. K24 Newscut begins right now. I'm Alan Owino. Our sign language interpreter for this session is Evelyn Wangoi. Now, the Senate Speaker, Amason Kingi, has set Wednesday and Thursday next week for investigation and the consideration of the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua in plenary following the decision of the National Assembly to vote in favor of the ouster motion tabled by Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwengi Mutuse. The Senate Speaker acknowledged receiving the resolutions of the National Assembly this morning while assuring Kenyans that the matter will be dealt with fairly and with the justice it deserves.
Been deemed to be withdrawn, pursuant to Standing Order 71, the proposal for a special committee is defeated. The Senate will therefore proceed with the investigation of the proposed removal from office by impeachment of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, EGH, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, in plenary. Honorable Senators, in line with the schedule of activities for an impeachment hearing in plenary, I hereby give the following directions. The clerk to circulate documents received from the parties, including the plenary hearing program, to all honorable senators upon receipt on Monday, 14th of October 2024. And the Senate shall then investigate the matter in plenary on Wednesday, the 16th, and Thursday, the 17th of October 2024.
And now we cross over to Parliament buildings, where our reporter Joel Chacha is on standby. Joel, what can you tell us so far?
Well, a very good afternoon to you, Alan. Indeed, I'm coming to you live from the Senate building that is, of course, in the Parliament premises. That includes the National Assembly and the Senate, but now I'm at the Senate wing. This is because the matter of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, who was impeached by 282 members of Parliament. Remember, earlier on the communication was that 281 members of Parliament had voted to impeach the Deputy President from office. This, of course, follows the motion that was tabled by Mwengi Mutuse with 11 grounds, and 44 members did not vote in support of the motion. And so later on, Parliament clarified that it's 282 members of Parliament who had voted in support of the motion. No sooner had that decision been made last night than the Senate already has received of course, communication from the National Assembly. Usually it requires 2 days for that communication to take place. However, in this matter, hurriedly it has been done. By early in the morning, there was already a communication from the Senate Speaker, Amason Kingi, informing senators that by 9:30, the matter will come up on the floor of the House. That is the resolution of the National Assembly as far as the removal of Rigathi Gachagua as the Deputy President from office is concerned. Now the matter lies purely in the hands of the senators. 47 senators are eligible to vote, with only actually for one to be ousted, it requires the majority of 2/3. That translates to 45, which is the number of senators who are supposed to vote in support of the motion or uphold what the National Assembly resolved for Rigathi Gachagua to stand impeached. That actually appears to be an uphill task considering 45 senators out of 47 senators. That's only 2. So Rigathi Gachagua requires at least 3 senators to just make the Senate not meet the threshold of impeaching him. And factoring, of course, we have seen several senators allied to Gachagua, of course, holding several meetings. This is, of course, in preparations for what was anticipated, that if the motion would sail through at the National Assembly and find its way to the Senate, then he could have his way out. So possibly it will be a very hard task to impeach Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua at the Senate. Alan, 45, while senators are 47. Remember, nominated members are not allowed or are not eligible to vote on this particular matter. And early in the morning, the discussion was whether this particular matter goes before an 11-member special committee or the plenary. And the move of the motion, that is the majority leader, Aaron Cheruiyot, he actually proposed to be seconded by the Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna. It appeared perhaps it could be deliberate for them, of course, to go the plenary way, and so Sifuna refused to second the motion that was moved by the majority leader Aaron Cheruiyot, and the speaker ruled that this particular matter will then face the whole House. This means Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua will appear before the whole House next week on Wednesday and Thursday, because on Monday and Tuesday already the Senate had scheduled the matter of the, of course, Bomet governor, that is Eric Mutai, was also impeached by the County Assembly. And so Alan, of course, this remains a wait and see whether also the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua could opt to resign before the Senate considers this matter. That appears, or many would regard as the safest option, if at all he has political ambitions in the future, as one, if is impeached, cannot actually be on the ballot in any elections in the future. And so if also Gachagua has another option, if impeached by the Senate, or the Senate upholds the impeachment that was made by the National Assembly, he can also move to the courts. But now, of course, it is a matter of wait and see. And Alan, just to give you a recap of what transpired in the morning, where the members are arguing that 2 days are not sufficient to prosecute or investigate the 11 grounds. These actually being the major or the many grounds that have ever been on the floor of the Senate. And this is what some senators actually were contributing on, that at some point forced actually the Speaker to chase away the, of course, Enoch Wambua, who is the Kitui senator. Listen in, and back to you in studio. A lot of process, evidence producing, and many other procedures. Mr. Speaker, considering the immense, would it be in order to request that, as per your direction, you increase even an extra day? You know, Mr. Speaker, they say justice should not be seen, should not only be seen, but to be seen to be done.
Even if we leave the 2 days that you have communicated, then we need to leave it open that if we find ourselves that we are just done with witnesses, both the accusers and the ones that are being accused, the defense team, Honorable Speaker, if you are not able to debate, then we can come the next day, debate and take a vote.
People should patiently listen to others.
Just conclude.
And especially when I express an opinion that is not in line with your opinion.
Honorable Wambua, which floor I have taken away from you? So, Senator Wambua, you're out of order, and leave the chamber now for the rest of the day. Leave the chamber. We need to be orderly in this matter. We're going to handle a very heavy matter. We cannot have any senator heckling the Speaker. As we go to this impeachment, you need to behave, Senator Wambua. Leave the chamber.
Meanwhile, a flurry of reactions emerged from allies of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua immediately after the impeachment, where they vowed they will not relent in their support for the besieged second in command.
Tulikuwa wengi, tulikuwa 44 of us ambao tumesimama na haki, na tumesema Kazi ambayo imefanywa katika bunge la taifa ni kazi ambayo ni political. Hawajatumia maneno ambayo inafaa itumike katika kuangalia makaratasi na haki ambayo inafaa itetewe. Lakini hiyo ni maneno ya koti, tumeachia koti. Sisi tumefanya political process, tumeonyesha Wakenya marafiki wetu na madui wetu. Lakini sisi tunajua marafiki wetu wako mashinani wanatuangalia. Marafiki wetu wako na kura zao wanalalia, wanagojea ile siku. Kwa hivyo this is purely a political process. It was purely political process. As you observed, some of us, especially those who are known to be on no side, were not given sufficient time to speak or to articulate their issues. But either way, the decision was made politically, and we say that we stand with Wanjiku back on the ground, because the voice of Wanjiku from the recent public participation was loud and clear that they supported against this impeachment.
Of course, this is to me a political sham, and it's quite unfortunate to see that the 13th Parliament, barely 4 months after they voted in a very unpopular finance bill, that they have told the Kenyan people that they do not care about their priorities, they do not care about making sure that our young people have employment opportunities, they do not care about our healthcare system, they do not care whether Wanjiku at Mashinani has good roads. What they care about is political processes, and we have seen members of parliament in the large numbers, and they barely are in parliament when important legislations are being made that affect Wanjiku.
No. If you look at how the house was, you can see it was totally mobilized politically. And that is why you could not imagine that other times when we are speaking about the people's affair, it is always like empty with very few members of parliament. And I want to say, right from morning, you could see Rigathi Gachagua being condemned when he has not been heard. And the same case applied during the public participation. There is no way you can go to the members of public without telling them and hearing the other side of the story, and you expect them to give whatever is required from a point of knowledge.
The 13th Parliament will go down in history as one of the parliament that has been hijacked or captured by the executive. You've seen the way the voting has been done, the whole issue of impeachment, the way it has been driven. The issues were taken to public participation even before hearing the defense of the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Even the members of parliament did not interrogate the issues that Rigiji is accused of. They just went ahead and voted and appended their signatures on a motion that they did not interrogated the issues. And when he was called upon to defend himself in parliament, those persons who purport to have been supporting the motion were not even listening to his defense. They had their mind very made up. And we've seen so much mobilization, a lot of money has been poured to make sure that the MPs vote in a certain way, and how to go down in history as one of the members who have stood for the truth.
And bribery claims emerged right after the impeachment process. Gachagua allies claiming money is exchanged hands in order for the impeachment motion to sail through.
We need a country to move. This country has not moved. This country has been about politics. We've been politicking day in, day out, and the politics has just been about one region only. Mrima. Kenya is bigger than Mrima. We needed this country to move. And I think from today, I can say freedom has come for this country, so that now progress can be seen in all parts of this country.
There are talks that money exchanged hands. How much were you given?
I'm waiting to see the money. I actually want that money if it's there. I am looking forward to it if there is money. But actually, for me, I voted with my conscience, because when there is a fight at the top, they say when two bulls fight, the grass suffers. And the grass that is suffering here is our people, me and you included. So we need peace. We need so that this country can move forward.
Money has been poured in this parliament. It is in parliament's domain. Every member of parliament knows this. Money flows according to how much you're worth. If you are a first timer, if you are a second timer, there are different denominations that money has been offered. This is a rot in parliament.
Perhaps how much, if you could help, just
100,000 to 500,000. These are things that are happening in this parliament, and that's why I'm telling you it's something that's going to go down in history as one of the most embarrassing things as members of parliament, that you can be pushing agendas which do not benefit the people of.
Away from that, the government is putting measures to curb various challenges facing Kenyans in diaspora. Addressing the Senate plenary today, the Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has assured Kenyans of government's effort in improving accessibility of its services and improving on bilateral labor agreements for Kenyans in the diaspora.
Mr. Speaker, is there a policy in the event a Kenyan dies abroad? A lot of times, and especially those countries which do not keep bodies for long, especially countries which do cremation, and especially Islamic countries where funeral is conducted in a day. When a Kenyan passes away abroad, it becomes such a challenge, Mr. Speaker, such that by the time you get the body home, it has almost become the responsibility of member of parliament or senator. Is there a policy and so that there is a desk where Kenyans can report, and because of our culture, our own people who are deceased could be taken care of with urgency and the families could be settled during bereavement? I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cheriot had in mind was to develop a Huduma Center approach to providing services for Kenyans in the diaspora in different capitals. And I think there is merit in this, and I can state that indeed, as we work with other departments, it's something that we are trying to enhance, especially around our consular services, so that there's a one-stop center for the services that Kenyans require. I wish to respond to some of the other issues in the following manner. The question of legal services, it is important, but I want to also just mention to the Kenyans that we are talking of almost 3.5 million Kenyans out there in different parts of the globe. Of course, the United States has the highest population, but in all the countries, we are talking of almost 3 million plus Kenyans who are in the diaspora. And the best we can do is that as much as we can have legal advisory services, sometimes within the embassies, depending on the resources available, we would strongly advocate that going forward, perhaps we can improve.
Well, K24 News could take a break at this point. We'll be back with more updates in a short while.
Have you watched K24? We would love to hear from you. Send us your feedback on what you like and what you don't like and why. You can use any platform to reach us. We can be reached on Facebook, SMS, Twitter, and WhatsApp.
Ikiwa umejisikia kuwa na mama, si utafute mama.
This Sunday, we confront one of society's darkest truth.
Anataka kupika nduru, ananiambia jaribu, nitakudunga na kisu.
A hard-hitting conversation on the harsh realities of children born out of defilement.
People are like, are you born out of rape?
A story of pain.
Sehemu ya uzazi inakuwa kubwa na nyuma. Sasa mtoto